Soviet era, toxic Aral Sea, restoration. In 1960, there was a sea. A shimmering jewel, in the heart of Central Asia. So vast you couldn't see the horizon. So full of life, that its waters sparkled with silver fish and migrating birds. This was the Aral Sea. A cradle of culture. A symbol of harmony between nature and people. Its blue heart pulsed between Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan. Spanning 68,000 square kilometers. Fourth largest lake on Earth. Fishing towns bustled along its coasts. Children swam in its cool waters. Ferries crossed its waves, linking ports and people. Life was simple, rich, and steady. Tied to the rhythm of the sea. But then came a new dream. The dream that killed. A dream of progress. Of conquest over nature. The Soviet Union decided to turn the deserts of Central Asia into fields of white gold. Cotton. They launched one of the largest irrigation projects in history. And to feed this ambition, they turned to the two great rivers that fed the Aral Sea. Canals were carved deep into the earth. Water was diverted across thousands of kilometers, to grow crops that never should have grown in such dry land. Every drop that reached the fields was a drop stolen from the sea. At first, no one noticed. The sea was so vast. How could it ever disappear? But nature is patient. And her revenge is slow. And relentless. The shrinking. Through the 1970s, the waterline crept backward. Villages that once stood at the shore found the sea retreating. Kilometer by kilometer. By the 1980s, scientists sounded the alarm. The Aral Sea was dying. Fishing fleets were stranded on dry ground. Ports like Minac became ghost towns. Fish species vanished as salinity levels soared. Where cool sea breezes once blew, the wind began to carry salt, dust, and chemicals. Ships rested in the sand. Monuments to human overconfidence. And the people who once lived by the sea, found themselves abandoned by it. The human tragedy. The drying Aral Sea was not only an environmental disaster. It became a human tragedy. Toxic dust storms spread far and wide, carrying pesticides, fertilizers, and heavy metals from the exposed seabed. Air, soil, and water became poisoned. Crops withered. Respiratory illnesses, cancers, and anemia spread like shadows over the land. The people of the Aral region, once proud fishermen and farmers, became victims of a disaster they did not create. Tens of thousands displaced. An entire way of life erased. A desert is born. The sea continued to shrink until it was no longer a sea. In its place emerged a new desert. A wasteland of salt and sand called the Aralkum Desert. Over 45,000 square kilometers of what was once water is now a ghostly plain. A desert larger than Switzerland. From this new desert, the wind lifts dust and toxins and carries them across Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, and sometimes as far as the Himalayas. Journeys once measured by ships are now measured by storms. By the year 2000, the Aral Sea was no longer one sea. It had split into separate lobes. Isolated remnants of its former self. Each telling its own story of decline, or survival. The remnants, north, southwest, southeast. At the top lies the North Aral Sea, within Kazakhstan. In 2005, Kazakhstan, with help from the World Bank, built the Koch-Aral Dam. A wall designed to trap and conserve what little water remained. And it worked. For the first time in decades, the sea surface began to rise. Fish returned. Birds circled the sky once more. By 2025, the North Aral spans about 3,000 to 3,400 square kilometers. Its fishing industry is slowly recovering. Proof that healing is possible when humanity listens. Further south lies the Southwest Aral, Uzbekistan's remnant. It still holds some water. A shimmering pool of survival in an otherwise lifeless expanse. Extremely saline. Very shallow. The last surviving piece of what locals call the Big Aral. A place where the limits of ecological endurance are tested every day. And to the east, the Southeast Aral. Once a vast expanse of open water. Now completely dry. By 2014, the last of its waters evaporated, leaving behind a salt flat desert. Nothing remains but dust, salt, and silence. Only after rare rains do shallow pools briefly appear. A fleeting echo of the sea that once was. Then they vanish again. The turning point. And yet, amid the ruins, something remarkable happened. Kazakhstan's decision to build the Koch-Aral Dam in 2005 marked a turning point. A small act of defiance against hopelessness. Engineers, scientists, and locals came together. They planted trees to hold the soil. Restored wetlands. Restocked fish. Slowly, painfully, the North Aral began to breathe again. Today, waterbirds once again nest along the northern shore. Fish like perch and carp have returned. Local fishermen, once jobless, now cast their nets once more. Children in Arals can see waves again. For the first time in half a century, the sea that vanished has started to return. Even if only in part. It is not enough to undo the past. But it is enough to remind us that healing is possible when humanity works with nature, not against it. The lesson and the promise. The Aral Sea is more than a regional tragedy. It is a global lesson. A warning of what happens when ambition ignores balance. It reminds us that rivers are not infinite. That deserts can rise where oceans once lived. That the consequences of human greed can outlast generations. But it also reminds us of something greater. That restoration begins with recognition. That even the most wounded landscapes can recover when we care enough to try. In the towns that remain, elders tell children stories of the sea that once was. So they never forget. They plant saplings on the sands to bind the soil and fight the storms. They dig small canals to channel spring floods into wetlands. They build museums to memory and dams to the future. And when the wind calms and the salt settles, you can almost hear the sea whisper a promise. Faint but real. If you protect what remains. If you respect the rivers. If you remember me. I will return. The Aral Sea may never be whole again. But its spirit endures. In the courage of the people who stayed. In the quiet persistence of life reclaiming the sand. And in the determination of humanity to learn from its mistakes. This is not just the story of a lost sea. It is the story of us all. Our power to destroy. And our power to heal.